Deborah.
You know it's Deborah,
So
bitch.
man, I've talked about.
Oh. Bounce. Oh. Bounce. Let's take these motherfuckers for a ride. Bounce. Hit my first lick.
So man, I've talked about.
Fudge.
3 electrical values drive welding principles: the amount of current or amperage in a current coil.
So
Deborah.
man, I've talked about.
You know it's Deborah, bitch.
Steele.
Oh. Bounce.
My name's Dr. Niles Calder.
Bounce.
Would
Take
you
these
please nod
motherfuckers
your
for a
head,
ride.
if you can understand me?
Hit my first lick. You ain't been through that shit. Jump my yes in school the next day, I got it lit. They was in class, wondering if I'm a snitch. I was in they house laughing, stealing all they shit. Older lokes told me had to handle that shit. Caught them slipping later on and put their teeth through they lip. Hit my second lick. That shit was a trip. Shot him in his hip, he was puking on his bitch. Ran off with that second, made that motherfucker flip. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No. Rob their ass again if they come back and try to trip. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No. Ran off with that second, made that motherfucker flip. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No. Came up out that gutter, I'ma rip it till I rip. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No. Hit my third lick. Wasn't even planned. I was at the gas station and I seen this fucking van. Sucker got out, left the keys in it. Ouchie hopped in, hit the breeze with it. I hit the breeze with it.
Whoa! What am I doing here?
Hold up.
Holy fuck! What the fuck? What the?
You ain't been through that shit. You ain't had to do that shit. Furnish somebody a pack, they have to rob them when they don't come back. You ain't been through all that. I heard them, you living fat. You been giving everything you had, motherfucker. You ain't never had to struggle for a rap.
Memory in your
Ask them about
subconscious.
them unsolved cases out in Spring Valley. Ask them about that dirty little white boy
Gotta
about
say,
the alley. Ask them about that motherfucker Monroe when he snitched on me. Ask them about the time that I did when he bitched on me. Walked up out of jail and I ain't have a red cent on me. Pockets empty, I ain't even have the will to live on me. 17 licks, now I'm used to this shit, homie. If you got robbed, had to get to that grip. Sorry, ran off with that second, made that motherfucker flip. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No. Rob their ass again if they come back and try to trip. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No. Ran off with that second, made that motherfucker flip. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No. Came up out that gutter, I'ma rip it till I rip. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No.
So man, I've
Much of your
talked
body was
about.
really beyond repair. But we're getting there. I promise you we're close. Rest.
I love that fucking moisturizer.
But
So man, I've talked about.
fluff, flu.
Jump my yes in school the next day, I got it lit. They was in class, wondering if I'm a snitch. I was in their house laughing, stealing all their shit. Older lokes told me had to handle that shit. Caught them slipping later on and put their teeth through they lip. Hit my second lick. That shit was a trip. Shot him in his hip, he was puking on his bitch. You ain't been through that shit.
What are you doing to me?
How about we take a break?
You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. Ran off with that second, made that motherfucker flip.
Chief's a good man.
You ain't been through that shit.
Big heart.
You ain't been
A
through that
little
shit.
odd, maybe a little vague, but it comes from a good place. Me, I'll always tell you the truth. The chief told you the world assumes you're dead. Did he tell you that's because the only part of you he was able to see was your brain? Which means we need to talk about expectations, what you really, really want. And then we need to take those expectations, we need to
You ain't been through that shit. Hit my third lit. Wasn't even planned. I was at the gas station and I seen this fucking van. Circle got out. Left the keys in it. Ouija hopped in. Hit the breeze with it.
I told you he
breeze
wasn't
with it.
ready.
Everyone deserves the truth.
Hold up. You know what I'm talking about? Nah, no, you don't know what I'm talking about.
You ain't been through that shit. You ain't had to do that shit. Fronted somebody your back. They have to rob them when they don't come back. You ain't been through all that.
What am I doing here? Whoa! What am I doing here?
I heard you been living fat. You been giving everything you have, motherfucker. You ain't never had to struggle for a rap. No. Ask them about them unsolved cases out in Spring Valley. Ask them about that dirty little white boy about the alley. Ask them about that motherfucker moon girl when he snitched on me. Ask them about the time that I did when he bitched on me. Walked up out of jail and I ain't have a red cent on me. Pockets empty, I ain't even have the will to live on me. 17 licks, now I'm used to this shit, homie. If you got robbed, had to get to that grip, sorry. Ran off with that second, made that motherfucker flip. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No. Rob their ass again if they come back and try to trip. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No. Ran off with that second, made that motherfucker flip. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No. Came up out that gutter, I'ma rep it till I rip. You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit.
The fuck? What the fuck?
You ain't been through that shit.
The fuck?
You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through
No,
that shit.
seriously.
You
What
ain't been
the
through that
fuck?
Honestly, you're in a memory in your subconscious.
You ain't been through that shit. You ain't been through that shit. No.
I gotta say, you look worse than I thought.
That's your Hillel. Well, it pains me to say this, but you look fucking awesome.
Bro, moisturizer.
I love that fucking moisturizer.
Came pumping on my floor. She said, come baby, you got a license for love. And if it expires, pray help from above, because in the midnight hour, she cried more. With rebel, yeah.
Take your head up when you're talking to me and be there when I need
With rebel, yeah.
same house, and the same boat.